So congratulations to all of you for your great performances in The Quiet Ones. I guess this is not your typical possession movie type. Curious, were any of you aware that all of these experiments was happening during the 70s? All over?
I mean, I wasn't born in the 70s, so my knowledge back then was a little lacking.
Yeah.
But no, it was literally something that I only heard about when we started filming, really. Or, you know, the script came through and there was a very brief mention, you know, that was based on true events. So I remember speaking to the director and asking what events. And, you know, we sort of had an opportunity where we all sat down 2 weeks before filming and we all kind of talked through said experiments and, you know, were given websites to go and explore. Yeah, and it was interesting to kind of look into that sort of side of the 70s, because it's something that, you know, I'm sure it's not something that people hear about, you know.
It happened a lot.
Were you aware of that?
Yeah, there's a lot of. I went to Duke University. Duke University had a very famous parapsychology department, and it was actually a legitimate study at a lot of universities around the world at the time. They were curious about trying to crack it and see if they could provide a scientific explanation, and that you had to have an experiment, of course, and then it had to have repeatable results from other people, from independent sources. So there are a lot of people who were trying to do it back then.
I'm curious, I mean, are these professors, they are, you say their belief is not really on the spiritual aspect, but more based on scientific theory? Because your character is very interesting. At the beginning, you know, you can see that he's really trying to help Jane, your character you play, and at some point, his belief kind of changed. So what changed his mind during the course of this treatment for Jane?
Well, I mean, specifically, in brief, I mean, it's an interesting thing to play, which is that you take somebody who says, I don't believe in, you know, I don't believe in ghosts, I don't believe in the supernatural, and then you take them to a point where they're confronted, where they suddenly have to deal with the very thing that they are most afraid of, and in a way, it was his biggest terror and his biggest fear is what he was confronted with. So, you know, it's satisfying from a story point of view, from an audience point of view, to take this guy who's so convinced and then you make him, you know, face it, you know.
Olivia, how did you prepare for this very interesting story, character, Jane Harper?
When I read the script, I just kind of fell in love with the character, and I felt like I could give that character some life, and they wouldn't see me at first because they thought I was too young, and so it was given to someone else, and then she went away for some reason. So then they was like, okay, we'll see her, and then I just thought I'd got to give this everything, because I really just connected with the character on some level. I don't know why, because I don't really act like that in real life. So when I got it, I was just so pleased, and I just felt like I needed to just do everything in order to keep my place there and to show them that that I can do it.
But have any of you guys ever had experiences with the supernatural aspect of it? Something paranormal during the making of this film, or just in your life in general?
No, I don't think any of us have ever really experienced
ghosts?
anything like that. No, unfortunately not. I wish I had a really interesting story to tell you about this one ghost, this one time.
Yeah.
I think as a kid, like any kid, you believe in things a lot more than you do nowadays. Like I think I was a lot less skeptical. I remember watching documentaries when I was a kid or whatever, and you kind of they sort of stay with you a lot longer than they do now, if that makes sense. I find I'm more curious than I was as a kid, bizarrely, but my imagination is less less excited.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How about you, Olivia?
No, I think it's something that's when when like Sam was saying, when you're a kid, it's kind of beaten out of you, you know, to stop being so silly, and so
you weren't beaten up, right?
I was beaten. So yeah, I'd love to experience something like that, so I can really 100% believe. But until that happens, I think I'm just slightly on the fence. Yeah.
I can tell Jared probably never.
I had an out-of-body experience. I don't know if that counts.
Did you? That's
yeah.
interesting.
I fell into a swimming pool when I was like 4 years old, and I remember standing at the edge of the pool, staring down at myself at the bottom of the pool.
For how long?
Well, then everyone, all my, my uncles and my dad jumped in and they pulled me out. But I remember being up here looking down like that.
Wow.
I don't think that's.
Wow.
I don't think that counts as a
Yeah.
supernatural experience, does it? I
But
don't
that's
know.
like near-death experience, right?
Right.
Right.
Sorry, we gotta go.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow, that's interesting.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very
guys.
much.